and say, we gotta raise 75 million at a 75 million pre-money, and the funds would come in and say, tell you what, we'll give you 150 million at 150 million pre. And you think, what? No, that was really going on. Today, they have to refinance that debt, and rates are higher and valuations are down. And so,
First gave that speech 25 years ago, that was 44% of GDP. But beyond being the base upon which our capital markets is built, beyond how we conduct monetary policy, how we fund our government, these markets also have three relevant, I would say, interrelated characteristics. One is they have deep participation by both bank and non-bank intermediation. Two, the use of leverage. And three, repeated jitters over the decades. Instability sometimes comes from these markets. So let me just start first with treasury markets and their characterization of bank and non-bank intermediation alike. When I started in Wall Street, the participants largely were commercial banks and investment bank dealers, often called primary dealers, but there were still non-bank dealers even in those days. Not many of you remember, but between 1982 and 1985, I was just starting out on Wall Street at the time, but between those period of time, a dozen non-bank treasury dealers failed, including Drysdale Securities, Lombard Law, ESM Government Securities. Why do I name them? These were all failures that sent shudders not only through the treasury market, but also into the banking system itself. And Congress responded under President Reagan and passed the Government Securities Act, which provided the U.S. Treasury with rule writing authority, the SEC with regulatory authority for central clearing in the treasury markets, and also for the dealer registering under those treasury rules.
And for this to work not only at the national level, but also at the international level.
Yeah, we've had conversations just now. We had representatives from the Boston Fed about the question of interoperability and the difficulty of getting the interoperability of any kind of payment system, much less a ledger, going. And one of those drivers that was mentioned just now was domestic. That you can't, for example, create interoperability with FedNow until
You might have heard the term hacktivism. This is when organizations, or even
allegations. Like one was bigamy, and one was like a false. They were in the context of marriage, and they said if you're going to accuse somebody of bigamy, if you're going to accuse somebody of entering into a marriage under false pretenses, that you need irrefragable proof for that. And that was the only cases that I saw prior to Knox. And Knox really just plucked it out of thin air and it took disparate lines of cases.